Hi all, a very good afternoon. Thank you for having taken the time to have joined me in today's webinar. This is Jay from AD Solutions team of Manage Engine, and right beside me is Sharada from the AD Self-Service Plus team, joining us for this marathon 75 minutes presentation for the day. First things first, before we get into today's session, for those of you who want a copy of today's webinar, that can be arranged. Towards the end of the session, all you have to do is just drop me a message with your email ID and I can have the video sent over. As regards to questions that are coming up, please feel free to shoot your questions then and there. We are here to answer all of your questions. Do not worry at all. If we miss out on one or two questions, we will take them towards the end of today's session. And yes, today's session is going to be on empowering ServiceDesk Plus for identity and access management. Like you might have already noticed, it's going to be a session on two of the industry's most valued technologies. What are they? Identity Access Management and ITSM or IT Services Management coming together. This synergy is what we are going to try and achieve today. So we are going to try and empower your IT help desk tool, which is Service Desk Plus, all right, for identity and access management. Like this vector diagram that goes right here, we've got Service Desk Plus right at the center of your organization. So we are trying to make Service Desk Plus a better ITSM solution. And how are we going to do that? By bringing together two of products from AD Solution Suite, which is AD Manager Plus and AD Self-Service Plus, getting it together with Service Desk Plus for your identity and access management. So we've split the session into two equal parts. The first part or the first half of the session is going to be on integrating AD Manager Plus and Service Desk Plus. So this is where we'll understand as to how this integration can help your user lifecycle management. Yes, so that's going to be the first half. The second half, Sharada is going to be handling end user password management or self-service or empowering your end users with self-service capabilities. So we are talking about a holistic session on not just empowering your help desk, but also we are going to an extent where we are empowering your end users. So your entire organization and your entire help desk is going to be empowered for identity and access management. Starting off with my half of the session, let's start off with the three most fundamental challenges that any Service Desk Plus administrator faces. So day in, day out, you go ahead and use Service Desk Plus for a variety of things. There are requests that are coming in, and as a matter of fact, of the most of the requests that are coming in, the repetitive request that comes up is for user creation. So you're going to have users onboarding, you're going to have users leaving the organization. This is a routine that's happening day in, day out, right? But then what's the biggest challenge that any administrator is going to encounter? The tedious toggle that you have to do. Say, for example, for something as fundamental as creating an AD account, you've got to get into your ADUC, start figuring out what attributes to be filled out, and this conversation is going to be endless. You talk to your HR, you talk to your help desk, you talk to your line manager, it goes on, and by the time your user gets provisioned, it's already going to be like what, half of the day done. So just to ensure that the whole TDT that's associated with this, the whole mess that's surrounding onboarding, what we are trying to do is we are trying to solve this challenge by trying to bring your entire user onboarding right to your Service Desk Plus, right to your help desk console. That's the first challenge we'll try and tackle today. The next common problem that administrators face, right, when it comes to data, the accuracy is something that can never be messed up with. When it comes to manually trying to have the data moved, from one interface to another, we are talking about transcribing data from one sheet to another. That at that point in time, there are always high chances that something could go wrong because you never know. Something might go wrong. So just to ensure that nothing of that sort goes wrong, we are trying to have the integration done in a tight manner that you enter just basic values at one part and everything else gets transcribed or pre-filled for you somewhere else, right? Probably we're talking about Active Directory. Yes, in Active Directory. all of that in one place. So when I was talking about this tedious toggles, this was what I was meaning. So right here are the screenshots of multiple consoles that are required for provisioning users. So if you were to raise a service desk request, you're going to receive it on your service desk console that's right here. And then right after that, you'll start provisioning your users in your Active Directory, right? That's going to take another, say half an hour to get all the attributes right. Post that, you'll think about having your Exchange setup right, and then whatnot, your Office 365 or your Google Apps. So all of this is going to be not just time consuming, but then ensuring data accuracy is going to be all the more critical. So to solve that, we're talking about this integration. Yes, so these are the consoles right here, and what we are trying to do is have all of that done in one single console. And not just that, we are trying to have a 360-degree user provisioning. What am I meaning when I say 360-degree user provisioning? Users being provisioned in your Active Directory, in your Office 365, in your Skype for Business, and even your Exchange and Google Apps, all of that in one single go, with just one request being approved and passed through. Yes, that's one great challenge that we'll be solving. Going further, talking about the fundamental problem or the challenge that's with any of the native tools. When there's something going wrong, you would have no idea as to what went wrong because there are no error notifications that are being thrown. But then when you integrate the product, when you integrate Service Desk Plus with AD Manager, the product actively finds out as to what went wrong. Say, for example, important mandatory attribute is left out, or say, for example, there's a user duplication. So you will be thrown with error messages, or you will be prompted with error messages that are going to help you sort of an issue even before getting the user provisioning done. So we are not just talking about getting a task done, we are talking about getting a task done rightly. So that's what we're talking about. So, and one more thing, this is another common use case that most of the administrators want to get done. Standardizing naming format. So right at the entry of a user into an organization, we'd want to make sure that everything is in place and it's in place rightly. So we're talking about a holistic approach of identity creation or identity management. Yes, from your help desk console by a simple integration that's going to help you create users in AD, Office 365, Skype for Business, and Google Apps, and also going to ensure you or help you ensure sanity in your system. So that's another challenge we'll be solving. Yes, and when it comes to your identity and access management, it goes without saying it's not complete without password management, right? So when it comes to password management, the idea of having a separate tool again for doing password management, that's going to be tricky. So we have tried and brought together not just password management. In the second half of today's session, you'll understand as to how we are trying to empower the end user with password management. So it's not just going to be your help desk striving with password tickets. We are going to talk about your end users trying to self-serve themselves. Yes, okay, so that's going to be the agenda, the crux of the agenda. The integration goes like this. It's between AD Manager Plus and Service Desk Plus. There are 6 fundamental integration features that we are offering. We're starting off with user onboarding, creating users, user offboarding, which is deletion or deprovisioning of accounts, and also unlocking accounts, enabling and disabling from an account management point of view. And finally, from a password management point of view, it's going to be reset passwords. So in simple, your entire AD user management from creation to deletion with user access management as well is completely brought together by this specific integration between AD Manager Plus and Service Desk Plus. So yes, let me quickly get into the session. We are going to be starting off with a simple first-hand integration between AD Manager Plus and Service Desk Plus. I'll start off by setting up the integration. I'll go forward to assign roles to your IT help desk technicians, the relevant roles and the relevant templates that are accessible from your Service Desk Plus console. And finally, we'll also go ahead and see how your end users can use the dashboard to raise service requests. So that's going to be the agenda. I hope the introduction has been clear. It's given you a clear picture on what we're going to discuss. And let me quickly get into the product and start off today's session. All right, so here we are at the Service Desk Plus console. I'm at the Admin tab. So we are talking about an integration among Manage Engine products. So Service Desk Plus is our help desk tool. AD360, or an integration or a combined platform for Active Directory management and self-service management that includes AD Manager Plus and AD Self-Service Plus. So that's AD360 for you. So we're trying to bring both of it together. So it's going to be a Manage Engine integration. Service Desk Plus console. From the admin tab, we are going to look up for a Manage Engine integration, ME integration. So here we have the products listed right there: AD Manager Plus, AD Self-Service Plus, Desktop Central, and Op Manager. In today's webinar, we'll be discussing about the first two integrations: AD Manager Plus, the product for managing your Active Directory. All right, so the integration is going to be a simple handshake between Service Desk Plus and AD Manager Plus. It can't get any simple. All you'll have to do is just key in the right server details, key in the right port, and go ahead and hit test connection. All right, the integration is successful from the Service Desk Plus end. So the second part of the handshake will involve you configuring from AD Manager Plus side. So here we have the AD360 dashboard, which is going to be a compendium or an entire identity access management tool that includes AD Manager Plus and AD Self-Service Plus. So we're starting off with AD Manager Plus. All right, so it's going to be pretty simple and straightforward. We're talking about an admin level action, an integration action. So it's going to be under the admin tab, and it's going to be an integration with Service Desk Plus. So we've got Service Desk right there. Like you can see, the product goes ahead and proactively discovers an installation that's already in place in your own network. So that way it saves trouble for you to even manually type that. So we've got that there. The server and organization is kept right, and we've also got the port number rightly configured. So one important thing is to ensure that you enable the tight integration. What is the benefit of enabling this tight integration? We are talking about giving access to all those critical AD features, right? We're talking about creating, disabling, enabling, resetting, deleting the entire life cycle. So for this integration to work hand in hand, we will need this specific tight integration to be enabled. So quickly enabling that and testing the connection. Yes, it says successfully connected. So we are done with the first step. As you can see, we are already done with the integration. It's that simple, just a two-way handshake. Key in the details here, and yes, once again right here. Once this is done, what comes up is a list of actions that can be accessed from your Service Desk Plus console. So here we have the basic actions that we were talking about. All of this becomes active. So the first step is for you to select an action and ensure that you rightly map the action to a technician and also to a template. So let me quickly go ahead and show you it in action. So let's take create user in Active Directory. So you would want your help desk technician to have access to it, and you'd not want everybody to have access to it. You'd want to give selective access, right? So let's say you would want to give access just your Service Desk admin. You can select that specific role. Here we've got it pre-selected. Likewise, if you choose to have access or to give access to all templates, it's going to be available from all templates. You can also restrict to either an incident template or service template. It's totally up to you. For this instance, I'm just leaving it as all templates. I've selected a specific role and I'm going to go ahead and hit update. Like you can see, it says create user in ADMP for this request. So it's going to be a tight integration that's going to percolate from Service Desk Plus for this specific role going forward to AD Manager Plus, and it's going to be accessible from this template. I'm going to go ahead and quickly hit update. So the custom menu is successfully updated. For all of this to work and to show up, it's important that you have this check mark checked which says enable AD Manager Plus menu. So that's a mandatory checkbox that you'll have to ensure that you've checked. That's done. Likewise, you can go ahead and start giving access to your help desk technician or any of your users for the actions that are listed right here. Let me go ahead and quickly show one more so that you understand. Let's say unlock users. I'm going to call it an incident. So it's going to be an incident template. Again, I'm giving access to a service desk plus admin role. Likewise, I can give access to any of the roles that are right here. It's totally up to your discretion. Yes, once that's done, you can go ahead and hit update. So this step is done. We're done with integrating both of the products. We are also done with selecting the right set of roles and templates. All right, so the next fundamental thing is to have your requesters in place. So what are we talking about? We are talking about users in your organization getting the provision to raise a request for those AD tasks. So we are talking about requesters. The best part about this integration, like I told you, when I told you it's tight, this was what I was meaning. So like you can see, there's a provision right here when I say requesters that says import from Active Directory. Just because this integration is enabled, you will be able to have all your Active Directory end users, all right, imported in one single go. So we're talking about importing Active Directory users. So here we've got the organization name set right, the domain controller set right. So wherever my Active Directory is running, all of that is set right. And I can also choose to select the fields that have to be imported. That's selected. And the last obvious step is to hit import. So here I have access to select either a specific organization unit, say for example this specific unit, or if I choose to import all of my users, which is going to be more likely the common use case, I'm selecting all of the users and I'm going to hit start import. So that is going to actively scan for all the users in my organization. It's going to import them into my Service Desk Plus and assign them the requester role. So as you can see, the import is in progress. It's almost about to be completed. And yes, we've got all of the users from Active Directory imported to your Service Desk Plus as requesters. It gets that easy, it gets that simple. So that way, any of your end user can quickly be moved or quickly be added to your ITSM tool or your help desk tool with a one-click import. All of them are right here. So the second part is also done. So we've set the integration, we've assigned roles, we've gone ahead and imported requesters. So we're done with the basics. Now comes the part where we have to understand that for this integration to work, your technicians need to have the right set of roles, not just in your Service Desk Plus, but then since these are AD management actions that we're talking about, your technicians need to have access in your AD Manager Plus as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly jump to AD Manager Plus, all right, and show you how to grant AD management actions or delegate AD management actions for your help desk technicians. Switching to AD Manager Plus. So AD Manager Plus is a comprehensive product that lets you do everything A to Z for your AD management, right from start of user creation to deprovisioning your entire user lifecycle management. Not just that, the differentiating element comes right here. We are talking about delegating roles of user creation, say to an administrator. So ideally, in a normal scenario, you'd go about granting access to your Active Directory. That's not something that's more like a best practice. Instead, what we can do is we can have help desk roles configured from the product, all right, and have them mapped to a technician. In this case, let's say Sean Adams. Sean Adams is already a technician right there at your Service Desk Plus. A while back, I had gone ahead to configure a role for a help desk technician from AD Manager Plus. Like I told you, you necessarily need not grant access to Sean in Active Directory. This action or this delegation is at a product level. So AD Manager Plus is going to grant access to Sean and perform the action of user creation or anything for that matter on behalf of Sean, all right, with the domain admin credentials that come as a part of AD Manager Plus. So here for this help desk role, I'm granting these basic access: creation, modification, resetting passwords, unlock and deletion. So this is the beauty of the product. So you can go granular and specify only those actions that have to be granted to a specific technician. So this is not just a delegation, this is more like a secure delegation that we're talking about. So getting back to AD delegation, We've got the help desk role configured like I showed you. The next obvious step is to have Sean added to the system as a technician. I've done that already for you. So quickly showing you what more can be done. Since I already mentioned that there is a granular level delegation that you can do, roles can be assigned to technicians, and also we can have customizations or restrictions at an organization and unit level. Say for example, Sean or your help desk technician has to have access to only a specific OU. Say, for example, just your employees in your organization at your UK office, at your office at United Kingdom, right? So we're choosing that and saying, okay, so this is going to ensure that this specific technician, whatever action he performs, be it creation, be it deletion, be it reset, any AD action from Service Desk Plus, or in fact, for that matter, AD Manager Plus, is going to have access just to this set of employees. Likewise, we can go ahead and have multiple modifications set. We've got extensive workshops and webinars conducted for AD Manager Plus, so do take your time to check them out. So now this is done. Employees for this specific OU are selected, the role is assigned, Sean is given access to perform user creation. So let me quickly get back to Service Desk Plus to see what Sean can do. So here I'm getting into admins tab, I'm getting into technicians, and let's see if Sean is configured right. Yes, we've got Sean configured rightly. Sean is granted this specific role that has access to all of those AD tasks that we configured a while back. And again, like you noticed, Sean is also a part of our AD Manager Plus delegation module. So that way, the integration is going to work smoothly. We've got a requester both in AD Manager Plus and in Service Desk Plus trying to perform a AD management action. Like the usual flow goes, I'm going to go ahead and quickly try and pretend to be the HR manager. All right. Why am I doing this? I'm doing this because the HR manager has got a requirement to onboard a new joinee into the organization. And the HR manager is going to be Steve Martin. All right. Just for clarity's sake, I've added HR, keying in the password for Steve Martin and trying to log in. All right, so here we are at the requests console for the HR. Now, what we have done is we've got into the HR's module and we are trying to raise a request for something as fundamental as user creation. That's going to be possible because of this specific integration that we've been talking about. So here we are at the HR's console from where he can raise a request for AD user creation. So this is a template from Service Desk Plus console. So you can create templates as per your requirements, set tasks, set parameters. You can go on and choose to customize as per your requirements. There are multiple templates that follow right here. Change of place, change of a new hire coming into a department, employee leaving an organization, which in turn is offboarding. So I've got two templates set, basic templates that a HR would use, onboarding and offboarding. So to start off with, the HR is going to go ahead and click on onboarding. I'm pretending. So Steve is raising a request for user creation. In this case, it's a user administration action for a new joinee. And since this template is configured right, we've got the data pre-populated right there. So what do we see right here? The request says onboard new joinee by creating accounts in Active Directory, Office 365, Google Apps, and Skype for Business. It would not have been possible if this integration was not in place. So we are going to try and see how to get all of this done in one simple request. Yes, so let me quickly add the details of the user. So the new joinee's name is going to be, let's say, James Bond. And the department is going to be, all right, it's going to be the IT department. So this is more like a prompt for your technician who's going to view this request and approve it. It's going to be pretty simple. It says onboard new joinee, create account in Active Directory, Office 365, and so on for this user James Bond in this department IT. All right. So if this were to be done in the usual routine that happens without this integration, your IT administrator would take a look at this request, talk to the relevant team, whichever team that the new joinee has to be a part of, get details, get access rights, get group memberships, so on and so forth, and manually start doing everything. User creation in Active Directory, 365, all of that. So here we've raised the request. We're almost done raising the request, and I'm going to click add request. So the request is through. The request from the HR for onboarding a specific user, James Bond, is through. So I'm going to quickly switch. All right, switch and log in as an IT administrator, or in other terms, a help desk technician for your better understanding. Let's say we were talking about Sean, right? Sean Adams, like we saw a while back, was a part of our AD delegation from AD Manager Plus. So Sean Adams, the user who is a technician, logging in as Sean Adams. So now Sean Adams will be able to not just view requests for user onboarding, like you can see that's come right here. Sean Adams will also be able to perform the action of user creation. And why is that? Quickly reminding you, that was possible because we have AD delegation in place, and from AD delegation we have Sean Adams as a part of our help desk technicians group. We've given him the permission for this help desk role. That's got the permission to create users in Active Directory. So Sean Adams, without ideally having to be given permission in Active Directory, still gets to create users. That's the beauty of the product. So that's the beauty of this integration. Yes, so here we are at the request. I'm going to go ahead and show you the actions that have been activated because of this integration. We've got create users, delete users, disable, reset, unlock, and enable, all of that right here from your actions menu. Since this is an action for user creation, I'm going to go ahead and quickly hit create user in AD. All right, so here's the crucial part of today's webinar that I'd want you to pay close attention to. So we're talking about simplifying user onboarding. Yes. So like you can see, after this integration is live, we're able to see a list of templates, right? So these templates have been imported actively from your AD Manager Plus. They are a part of the user creation template module in AD Manager Plus. What do you observe? We've got templates for users in finance department, HR department, IT, sales. So be it any department, from AD Manager Plus, to simplify the entire onboarding, you can have templates created for specific departments, or in fact, for that matter, even specific roles, with AD attributes pre-specified or pre-populated. What am I talking about right here? For your better understanding, again, switching back to AD Manager Plus, guys, do not worry at all. We are going to go ahead and have a video sent over, so you can replay this as many number of times as you want, because this is a critical integration that we're talking about, and we are talking about user creation templates right here from AD Manager Plus. So like I told you, user creation templates are for different departments with attributes specific to that department's specified. So here we've got all of this listed: finance, HR, IT, and sales. So here a while back the request was for the IT department. All right, so let me quickly show you what magic that user creation template holds. So IT users, when I get into it, I'm able to see that Office 365 is also enabled. So when we were talking about 360-degree user provisioning, this was what I meant. In one go, you get your users onboarded everywhere. From this template, attributes like the description is filled out. Your organizational unit, for that matter, it says IT employees in United Kingdom. It's that specific attributes pre-specified right there for you. From your accounts tab, just like your Active Directory, you can have your membership set right. So domain users and IT access control list, those are the groups that members need. All right, IT department needs, so that is there in place. Likewise, you can also go ahead and have attributes like the manager attribute set beforehand. IT head, it says IT head, the department says information technology. So this layout that's right here is going to be the game changer. We are trying to automate, or we are trying to pre-create everything that's required, have it in place, right? Since I'm aware that IT users are definitely going to be a part of IT department, they are going to have IT head as their manager. Likewise, from their accounts tab, they're going to have attributes specific to IT department member of saying IT accesses. So this template is going to let you predefine everything that's pertaining to your IT department. Things like your Office 365 can also be customized. This is what I'm talking about. So you can have accounts pre-created right here, and also go to the extent of setting the licenses right. So your IT department will require specific set of licenses. You can just add those licenses and get done with it. So that's the beauty of AD Manager Plus, all of it pre-specified to ensure that your user onboarding is not just quick, but then it's on dot. So that's what we're talking about, IT users template created for you right there. So getting back to Service Desk Plus, so here we are trying to create a new user, trying to solve the request from the HR for the user James Bond. So I'm going to go ahead and just key in the first name and last name, and before that, what do we have to do? We'll have to select the right template. So IT users is the template because I'm trying to onboard James to the IT department. Keying in the password. All right, don't mind, that's just a demo password. So we've got password at 123 set as the password. You can go ahead and set something that's stronger. You can choose to enter a mobile number, a telephone number, something like this. The department we already know, it's IT department. All right, these aren't mandatory attributes. The ones that are mandatory are the logon name, which is going to get automatically populated when you fill in the first name and the last name. All right, so job title, again, let's say trainee into the IT department. All right, let's quickly hit create and see the magic happen. So we'll be able to see that this user James is not just going to get created in IT department, but then is also going to get an Office 365 account in one go. Hitting on create, the request is being processed, and there you go, we've successfully created James Bond and onboarded him in one go in Office 365 as well. Office 365 user created successfully, and in fact the directory sync is going to get done when the synchronization goes forward. So what are we trying to achieve right here? Your ITSM tool that you've been using day in day out, the one tool that you're familiar with, the one tool that you access to create handle service requests. You get requests, you move to another module, try doing the same action. It's going to be tedious. I totally understand because I myself do the same thing day in day out. That way, when this integration is in place, it's not just about having users onboarded, it's about having them onboarded as per your requirement. For James, he's going to be a part of the IT department. Yes, that's done. He's going to have specific attributes predefined. Yes, that's done. Office 365 account. Yes, that's created as well. So all of that by just one single click with two basic attributes filled out, just the first name and last name, we are done with the entire user onboarding. So to quickly check if this integration worked, to quickly check if James got onboarded, I'm getting back to AD Manager Plus that also offers AD reporting capabilities. All right, before I hit reports, I'm going to go ahead and quickly do a sync just to ensure that all my users are in place. The new user that got created is in place. All right, we're talking about an AD report from the list of exhaustive reports that we offer for user management, your group management, so on and so forth. So when you try AD Manager Plus, you'll understand the extensive reports that we offer. The list is exhaustive, to be precise. So we're talking about a new user who got created, James. Yes, so I have a specific user report called as recently created users, and when I specify the timeline, let's say last 7 days, and hit generate, it's going to give me a list of all those users who've got into my organizations recently. So there we have James Bond. For you to understand, he is a part of the IT access control list. He is a part of the domain users as well. Did I specify all of this? Not at all. This was because the template had all of these values held rightly. He is a part of the IT department. He reports to the IT head, and in fact, for that matter, his OU is also specified right. So we've brought together identity access management and ITSM. Yes, identity access management and your service management together from your service desk plus console with this integration that's gone to an extent of getting all your attributes for James rightly pre-specified and in place. So that's what we are talking about. We're talking about easing out your entire user onboarding with all attributes pre-populated with just a few clicks. There's a request coming up from the HR. The administrator views it, selects the right template, hits go, and like magic, we've got the user provisioned in AD with all the right attributes. So we've covered the most important section of today's workshop, which is onboarding user. So likewise, offboarding users again is going to be another task. That's going to be more or less the same, and it's for that matter it's going to be easier. Let's quickly see if we got a request for offboarding. Yes, I have a request for offboarding a user. Clicking on the request, since I'm the administrator, I have the privilege to perform the offboarding action as well, which is deleting the user in Active Directory. So there's something that I'll want you to note right here. What's the biggest challenge in offboarding? Doing your offboarding clean is going to be difficult. What do I mean when I say clean? Having your account deprovisioned in your AD, removing licenses from Office 365, removing your Exchange account, all of that is going to be separate tasks when you do it manually. But then from here, what we can do is we can quickly have all of that done in one simple go, just like how we got the user provisioning done in one go. And again, switching back to AD Manager Plus so that you understand how this integration is going to help you from the admins tab. Since this is an administrative action that we are talking about, we've got policies for user deletion and disablement. So right here, we are able to see that the delete policy has the provision to select this option which says delete Office 365 account. Likewise, from disabling, we also have provision to disable a mailbox, disable Skype for Business. So when you're trying to do your deprovisioning, it's going to be a holistic deprovisioning, a clean deprovisioning, just to ensure that there's no security loophole that's left. From a security standpoint, yes, this is a kick-ass value-adding feature. So disable delete policy from your admin tab in AD Manager Plus right when you try and deprovision Lisa from her Active Directory. All of this is going to happen along with her Office 365 license removed, Exchange mailbox deprovisioned, and Google Apps as well removed. So looking up for Lisa, pretty simple. I am trying to deprovision Lisa, so all I'll have to do is just type in Lisa's name, search for her, and hit delete, and off she goes. Selecting Lisa and hitting delete, off she goes. So user has been successfully deleted. So this is what we're talking about. Lisa's attributes, AD attributes gone, Lisa's Office 365 unsynced, everything done. Okay, so that is also done. So we've started off with onboarding, we've gone to deprovisioning, we are done with that. What more do we have? We can go ahead and discuss about account management related actions, things like unlocking a user account, enabling or disabling a user account. All right. So quickly getting to requests to see if we've got requests for any of those. All right, so we have a request for resetting password for a specific user. Let me quickly get into that. All right, so here we are. We can choose to perform any of the actions that are listed right here. Let's assume this action is for enabling an account that's disabled, just for example. All right, let's say this is a request from the HR for enabling. I'll have to hit enable, look up for the user. In this case, it's Jason. Search for the user, select the user, and hit enable. So this says I do not have permissions to modify this user. And why is that? That's because did I ensure that Sean had the access for that specific role from my AD Manager Plus in Delegation? No, I did not. I had given Sean just the basic access to create or deprovision users in AD Delegation. So this is what I'm talking about. So even when you try to perform an action, yes, if something goes wrong, you will have outright messages that give you access to what's going wrong. So here it says the permission is denied because I did not choose to delegate that specific action from AD Manager Plus. So the next time when I do, I'll have to ensure that this user has that action. Likewise, Let's go ahead and try to perform another action. Let's say unlock a user account. I remember specifying unlock user account as one of the tasks, so I'm guessing that this should be possible. So yes, that was successful. Quickly getting back to show you what I'm talking about, in AD Manager Plus, when I delegated the role for help desk technician for Sean, all right, I had chosen to give him access to unlock, but then did I give him access to enable or disable? No, I did not do that. So that is why it wasn't possible. So we are trying to create a system of help desk delegation that's specific to a role and at the same time secure. So another administrator can be given the access to delete or deprovision an account, something that's all the more critical. So likewise, here we got an action done. So the next task, the actual task that we've been discussing, is to reset password. Again, actions, selecting reset, selecting the user, in this case, let's say Jason, selecting the user and hitting reset password. With the new password, you can key in the new password and hit reset for Jason. But then what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to reset password for Jason right now. And why is that? Because we have Sharada right here from the AD Self-Service Plus team, who's going to show you how to empower the end user, say for example in this case maybe Jason or any other user, to get the same set of actions done from your AD Self-Service Plus plus AD Service Desk Plus integration. Quickly switching on and moving over, just give me one quick moment. So these are the screenshots right here that show you the AD Manager Plus Service Desk Plus integration. We've got a 360-degree user provisioning, one that says a user is created in Office 365. We've got another screenshot that says the end user or your technician has the ability to perform these and these actions, enabling, unlock, create, reset, disable, all of that. And then finally, from your end user point of view, they can raise requests for any of this. In our case, we saw how the HR executed the request, and there was a request for password reset. And here we have Sharada, who's going to discuss on empowering your end user with Service Desk Plus. Go ahead, Sharada.
Thank you so much, Jay, for giving us a very exciting session and making user onboarding sound like a child's play. I think it was possible because of integrating Service Desk Plus with AD Manager Plus. So before I jump into my part of today's session, let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Sharda from the marketing team of Manage Engine AD Self-Service Plus, and I will be taking care of the session from now. So I'm here to talk about the integration that happens between Service Desk Plus and AD Self-Service Plus. That is, I'm sure you had a very good session with Jay on Active Directory user management. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about the benefits of integrating with Manage Engine's identity password management and ID self-service solution, that is AD Self-Service Plus. So let us quickly start today's session. Give me a minute there, sorry about that. Okay, so I think JV already spoke to us about the game-changing handshake that AD product suite provides by integrating with Service Desk Plus. So I'm going to show you what more we can do right now. So quickly going through the agenda for today. I'm sure you can see the agenda displayed in your screens. So I'm going to talk about empowering the users to self-solve or raise tickets for all kinds of IT issues. So this is not just about Active Directory. We're also going to be talking about other applications. That is more than 80 applications that AD Self-Service Plus supports. And yes, with that said, let me quickly jump into the session. We're going to move on to see about how you can significantly reduce calls to the help desk. And this can ultimately improve the end user experience. So I'm going to show you how to set up AD Self-Service Plus configuration from your Service Desk Plus console. and how you as an administrator or an IT technician can empower users and give them complete access into password management and self-service. Okay, so I have the setup ready for you. I'm going to quickly jump into the ServiceDesk Plus screen that we can see right here. So what you see is the ServiceDesk Plus console. What I'm going to do as a first step is log into my SDP as an administrator, given the password, and quickly move on. So yes, you can see that AD Self-Service Plus is available right in your dashboard or console or homepage. I'm going to click on this and show you that the integration has not been enabled yet. So what we're going to do now, so what you see on your screens is the ServiceDesk Plus homepage, and right here is AD Self-Service Plus tab. You can see that the integration is not enabled yet, so I'm going to configure it quickly. Believe me, when JV said it was a simple configuration, it is pretty simple. So I'm going to do it and show you how simple it is. So I've given in the server name and giving in the port. I'm going to click on test connection, and the ME integration has been updated successfully. So before I jump into the AD self-service part, I have a quick customer testimonial for you. So the testimonial reads, by integrating ServiceDesk Plus with our Active Directory, we made our help desk more accessible and organized to our end users who now log into the portal, overall reducing phone calls and walk-ins. So this was a customer testimonial by an IT infrastructure manager from Moscow. So this is what I would probably say pushed us to go ahead with the webinar and spread the message about the Active Directory integration. So what I'm going to do now is quickly click on the AD Self-Service Plus icon, and you can see that I'm redirected to the Manage Engine Password Self-Service Management portal. Let me log in as an administrator, and now I will be entitled to all the password self-service management. So you can see the dashboard, the reports tab. I can move on to the configuration tab where I will be taking care of most of the activities. So right from multiple policies created depending on organizational roles or groups present in your Active Directory, you can move on and make full benefit of AD Self-Service Plus with the help of the password synchronizer or single sign-on solution that we provide, or the one identity solution, which supports more than 80 applications. So I'm going to scroll down quickly to give you a quick look at all the applications that we provide or support. And not only that, we also facilitate password expiry notification. So this can be done via mail or SMS or as a push notification. So this is to ensure that users are well intimated in advance regarding their soon to expire password or account expiry notification. Not only that, we have a very interesting feature, which is the password policy enforcer. So apart from the Active Directory enforce policy, you can customize a policy and enforce the policy across your organizational groups and organizational units and groups present in your Active Directory. So we have password rules right from password length, moving on all the way to complexity rules like the dictionary rule, patterns, and much, much more. So I'm going to give you time to explore AD Self-Service Plus as an application individually, but let me quickly move on to today's session, for which I am going to navigate to the Administrator tab or the Admin tab. And under Product Settings, you can see Connection. So let me quickly scroll down to show you that Manage Engine ServiceDesk Plus compatibility has already been identified. I'm going to quickly edit it. And why am I doing that? Is because I'm going to authenticate my admin credentials that is present right here. So I'm going to click on the admin icon, generate an API key. and authenticate my identity to be entitled to complete password self-service. So once this is done, I have a message which says the connection is successful and has been updated. So yes, with that, I was able to complete the integration part. So I think we've successfully kickstarted integrating AD Self-Service Plus for ServiceDesk Plus. So now let's look into password self-service for end users and keep track of users' actions. So how are we going to do that? For which I'm going to jump back to the Manage Engine AD Self-Service Plus portal. I'm going to go to the configuration tab. So let me give you a quick brief of what I have previously done. I have organizational units based on an organization's roles like admin and HR. So what I've done is created policies. Let me quickly give you a recap of what I did. So under select OUs and groups is my domain that is present, that is organization.com, which is the domain that I'm using for today. So under the self-service tab, I've sorted users into OUs based on their organizational roles as admin, finance, and HR. So I'm going to create a policy right now for you for the users in the OU finance and name this particular policy finance. Enable all the password self-service actions that we can provide them and save this particular policy. So this way we can customize self-service actions according to policies that is created based on organizational units or groups present in your Active Directory. Okay, so once this is done, how do we go about and get notified about user self-service action? So here you see the advanced settings. I'm going to click on that and navigate to the notification tab, and under notify admin, I have a check box which says create request in ServiceDesk Plus. So I'm going to enable this particular checkbox. So I have a request present already. So I'm going to stick to this particular format. Click on OK. And that is all you have to do from the admin's perspective. That is how simple it is to set or configure self-service for your SDP users. So once this is done, let us look into the user's perspective of how this works, for which I will have to log in as a user. So let me quickly log out of the AD Self-Service Plus portal as well as my ServiceDesk Plus portal. So now I am back to the Manage Engine ServiceDesk Plus portal. What I'm going to do now is try to log in as a user. So I'm using my own credentials today to log in, and once the login is successful, what I would usually do, that is what a user would usually do when they go through a password related help desk ticket, is click on submit your request. Scroll to that particular template category or particular request that is given. So let us consider an example of request reset password for an AD account, and click on that particular request and process with or go ahead with that particular request. But you can see the AD self-service tab enabled for the user Sharda inside their ServiceDesk Plus portal, which is possible after a successful integration between ServiceDesk Plus and AD Self-Service Plus. So now I'm going to go about and click on this particular tab to see what a user can do right now. So once the user is being redirected to the Manage Engine AD Self-Service Plus portal, let us consider the same case of a password reset. So I'm going to pretend to be a user who's forgotten their password. So in this case, what I would naturally do is click on forgot your password link, give in my domain username, that is Sharda, log into the domain that is organization and click on continue. So now I've been posted with 2 questions, that is my security question answer. So I'm going to quickly answer them, given the CAPTCHA, and click on continue. So all this has to be done because there's a timer ticking. So let me redo the process. Looks like I've given a wrong answer. I'm going to click on continue. And you can see that I've been redirected to the password reset page, where I also have my domain password policy requirements displayed right here. So what I would naturally do is give in my new password, reconfirm my new password, enter the captcha once again, and all this has to be done before I run out of time, and click on reset password. So now I have a message which says the password has been reset successfully. This will make sure that the password reset process is successful. So let me go back to the ServiceDesk Plus portal. I'm going to go to the Requests tab right now. Click on My Completed Requests, and you can cross-verify the time and the date right here. Let me open the request for you. So you see, not only does the user be able to self-solve or go through a self-service process of resetting, thereby avoiding a help desk ticket, the user or the administrator will also be notified about the request details. So I have a ticket created which has the status closed at this particular time, which shows a successful password reset operation. So this will not only help you as an administrator to audit user self-service actions, but also reduce help desk tickets drastically, which concern password self-service. So now I've shown you the benefit or advantage of integrating AD Self-Service Plus with ServiceDesk Plus with a live example of how a user goes through the reset password process. So now, if you as an administrator would like to keep a check on this particular operation, what are you going to do about it? So let me quickly log out of the user's ServiceDesk Plus portal. And what I'm going to do now is log in to my AD Self-Service Plus portal as a domain user. So you can see that I've given my credentials and I'm going to log in as a domain user. And once again, if a user goes through a process where, in spite of being entitled or given the choice to go through a self-service process, still faces any sort of difficulty or issue with a password reset or a change password operation, all the user has to do is click on this Help Desk tab, and they will be redirected to the Manage Engine Service Desk Plus page where they can log in with the credentials and create a help desk ticket. Okay, so once this is done, the process holds the same for a change password operation as well. And believe it, when I said this is not applicable only for the Active Directory, I meant it. AD Self-Service Plus with single sign-on and password synchronization enabled supports more than 80 applications for which you can go ahead for the password reset or change password operation. Also, if you were wondering how me as a user, Sharda, was able to go ahead and verify my identity, that was because of the enrollment option. So I had already enrolled with AD Self-Service Plus with my security question answer method, which is the most widely used authenticator. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what you can do as an administrator in a case where you would want to keep a check on user self-service action and not just give them the empowerment to completely go through their self-service actions. So I'm going to quickly go back to the configuration tab and give you a hint of what I'm talking about. I'm talking about self-service approval workflow. That is, you as an administrator or an IT technician can keep a check on user self-service action. So when you empower your users to password self-service action or self-service actions for your Active Directory and more than 80 plus applications, there might be a little compromise on security with respect to certain users. But with this particular integration with AD Manager Plus, you can completely override that particular problem. So let me quickly explain how this works without doing much talking by integrating it with AD Manager Plus, our very own Active Directory management product. I am redirected to the admin tab, and under product settings is connection. Let me click on add a new product, and I'm going to add the application AD Manager Plus. So the server name is the same. I'm going to give in the port number, which is 8080. The protocol is HTTP. Let me quickly test connection and save it. Yes, the connection has been successfully updated. So let me quickly go back to the configuration tab and navigate to approval workflow. So I'm going to enable approval workflow. So let us go through a simple process of directory self-update for, say, the policy admin. So I'm going to click on OK and click Save. So once the setting has been saved successfully, let me log out of the admin portal and try to log in as the domain user. That is Sharda once again. I'm giving in the credentials and I'm going to log in. So once my login is successful, if you notice, there's a new tab that has popped up which says requests. What I'm going to do now is create a request with a change of mobile number. So this is a simple request. I've given a random set of digits and I'm going to create a request right here. So under the request tab, you can notice that a request has been created and the status says open. So how is this going to help us? So by integrating AD Manager Plus and AD Self-Service Plus, not only can you monitor the users, not only can you empower users self-service action, but you can also monitor their self-service action by assigning an approval workflow. And this will be entirely taken care of your help desk technician right from the AD Manager Plus portal. So for which I'm going to quickly jump to the AD Manager Plus portal and show you how it works. Let me go to my AD Manager Plus portal. I'm sorry if I'm confusing you by jumping between different products, but this is just to explain how this works. So under the workflow tab, under all requests, so remember that I've logged into AD Manager Plus as an admin. You can see that a new request has been created which says modify user attributes. I'm going to click on this particular request. So the request status says open and the request has been raised. I can click on the request details to verify the request and decide if I would like to execute the request or not. So once I decide to execute or reject the request, I can go ahead with this particular operation. And once the request status has been successful, the user will be notified about the request status and they can also keep track of it right in their domain user portal. So I'm going to refresh this particular tab and show you that the request status is executed and closed. You can cross-verify the time to see if it's the same request that was created right now. Not only that, it will also be reflected in the self-update portal right here. So if you remember, previously we had a couple of zeros in the mobile tab, but now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this will also be reflected in your Active Directory real time. So this is possible by successfully integrating AD Self-Service Plus with AD Manager Plus. So let us go ahead and look at another provision that this provides. So what I'm going to do is go back to the configuration tab and enable notification for Service Desk Plus for the policy HR. So now under the administrative tools, I'm going to navigate to approval workflow. And this time I'm going to enable reset password or account unlock action. So you see that the administrator defined security question is a very simple question and it can be verified with an Active Directory attribute. And this is going to be applied for the policy HR. Let me quickly save the settings and show you the magic that the integration or synergy of three products, that is AD Manager Plus, AD Self-Service Plus, and Service Desk Plus, all from the Manage Engine product suite provides. So what I'm going to do now is quickly try to go to the forgot your password link, pretending to be another user, Adam, and click on continue. So I have a simple question which says, what is your login name? So I'm going to give Adam once again and enter the CAPTCHA. So you can customize the security question answer, that is the admin defined security question answer. And I have a message which says your password reset request has been submitted and is waiting approval. So let me go back home and wait for it to be taken care of from the AD Manager Plus perspective. That is, let me wait for a help desk technician to go through the go through the request and decide to process it or not. So I'm right here in the AD Manager Plus console. I have a request for reset password. Let me quickly execute the request because I've just created the request right here. So the request status is open and it says raised. I'm going to click on execute and click on OK. So once the request is successful, let me show you what happens in the user's perspective. So meanwhile, what I'm going to do is quickly log into my mail account. So I'm going to try and log in as the user Adam into Adam's Gmail account, which is the account that has been configured with or synced with is Active Directory. So this is just to show you how the notifications work. So that's what I'm doing in the background. So yes, so once I've been logged into Adam's account, you can see that I've received a couple of notifications that has been with regard to my approval workflow. So I'm going to go to the latest one, which says the request for self-service password as approval has been executed by the admin. Let me go back to my inbox and show you that I've also received a secure link for password reset. Let me quickly click on the link and show you that I've been redirected to AD Self-Service Plus Password Self-Service Management Reset Password page. All I have to do now is enter my new password, reconfirm my new password, that is for the user Adam, give in the CAPTCHA quickly, and we are good to go. So once the reset password has been successful, let me show you what happens from the perspective of the administrator who tries to log into or tries to access all the details right from ServiceDesk Plus. So I'm going to log in back as an administrator, going back to where it all started. I'm going to log in into my ServiceDesk Plus admin portal. And you can have a look at the requests tab and have a detailed request of the password reset that has happened for the user Sharada and Adam that's been created right away. You can also take care of the completed requests right here. So yes, not only can you keep track of all the user self-service actions from your Service Desk Plus portal, you also have built-in reports both in AD Self-Service Plus as well as AD Manager Plus, which will give you a detailed insight into user self-service actions. So yes, with that said, I'm going to quickly give over the session to Jay to have a quick recap of all that we did. Take over, Jay. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharada, for that neat presentation on self-service for Service Desk Plus. With that being said, let me quickly go ahead. We've got 5 more minutes left, and let me quickly use that to give you a recap on what we saw today. So what was today's session on? We were talking about empowering your Service Desk Plus for identity and access management. The first half of the session, I was talking about having users provisioned, having users deprovisioned, managing the accounts, all of this because AD Manager Plus and Service Desk Plus integrated. The second half of the session, we had Sharada talking about AD Self-Service Plus, giving the benefit of empowerment to all your end users to perform actions through Service Desk Plus and also keeping a tight watch on what's happening, things like approval workflow, things like self-service. Yes, so we are trying to solve a fundamental challenge. We are trying to solve a challenge, and this is the question that we'd like you to know or answer. Are you ready to maximize your entire IT management capabilities? We're talking about efficient management of time, efficient management of effort, and on top of all, efficient management of cost. We are doing nothing but value addition by this simple integration, a three-dimensional integration between AD Manager Plus, Service Desk Plus, and AD Self Service Plus that's going to help you make your Service Desk Plus a far better ITSM solution. Yes, thank you once again for being such a wonderful audience. We look forward to hear from you. We hope that you make the best of this specific webinar or this specific integration that we are talking about. You've been such a wonderful audience. And yes, like promised, a resource kit is going to be sent out to all of you guys. You can have a look at the video. You can also make use of the presentation that we used today. Or if you need anything else, you have a doubt regarding any of the integrations that we're talking about, just drop a message to us. Yes, we are here to answer your questions. Until next time, this is Jay and signing off. You all have a great day. Like I told, we are available at the chat right now to take all your questions. For those of you who have questions, we've been trying and answering as many questions as possible during today's session. For those of you who have more questions, you can always reach out to us. Yes, you know the email address to get in touch with, and it's going to be support@admanagerplus.com or support@adselfserviceplus.com. So what we look forward is to hear from you as to what more do you expect out of this integration. Is there any feature request that you'd want us to work on? That can be definitely done. In simple, all we want you to do is you do the math. IT service management is going to be a far more powerful solution when it's integrated with AD, and it's already taken off. Thank you.